crafty friends, it's Emily back and with another class here on crafty tools, and today I'm going to be showing you about the Misti stamping platform. What's basically the best part about the stamping platform is you get a perfect stamp every time. So I just want to show you what you get with the Misti. So you get this awesome platform. It's 6.5 by 8.5 as far as the center platform where you can place your paper, and it comes with a magnet. So this is the magnet. It's super strong and it sticks like that, so you can place your paper down on the platform here on the base, and then you can see the front cover has a light gray grid. It also has this lip over covering it, which is easy to allow it to open. You can store the magnet here. A lot of people use it this way, which I guess makes sense because then you can read the numbers, but I'm just so used to doing it this way. But whichever, to each your own. So it comes with this grid paper. I just wanted to show you that you can rip it off, start anew. And I'm almost running out, but I've had mine for years now and I still have just a few left, and you can buy more of the grid paper. You can buy an extra magnet as well, the Misti itself. All this stuff you can get at catherinepollard.com, which is great. And then it also has this foam mat that it comes with. So this just allows it so that you can use your typical photopolymer stamps, which are like this. So these are just your regular stamps that you would use. You would use it on with the foam mat, with the grid. If you were using like a background stamp, so that would be like this type of stamp where it's cling, like a rubber stamp. So it's a little bit different in that it is thicker. So I can just show you this. You would take this whole thing off, which I will show you, put it on here, and then you don't need the foam stamp pad since it is just a lot thicker there. So I'm just going to show you a basic how to use the Misti. I use this all the time. It's one of my favorite crafting tools. It's one of the originals that came out with the stamping platform as far as being able to stamp something super precise. So I wanted to show you an example. I have this old school type stamp that I got a long time ago, and it just has the block on here, right? And I just loved the font of it. But the downside to the block is that when you stamp this down for a card maker, and even for scrapbookers alike, you don't always get like a clean stamp. So you can see how that's okay, and see I missed a little bit there on Halloween. So I'm just going to show you the point of the Misti is that you can put your stamp on the grid, you keep your paper down, you stamp it down. Say you miss a spot just like this, instead of not being able to restamp that same image because it's on a wooden block, you can just restamp it and it'll be in the same exact position that it was. So I wanted to show you an example of this. It's very simple. Something that really changed I feel like it just changed my card making in the sense that it just made everything a little bit more crystal clear. I really love this fabulous stamp set, and I got this from Catherine Pollard also. I just want to show you, I'm going to show you just how to use this tool and how it's just so simple. So basically how I do it, I'll put my stamp down here first, wherever I want it on my card. So I like it there. This is just a regular card base, and then you press down and you lift it up. And it's okay my paper shifted because I'm able to just put it right in this corner here, just making sure it's aligned. Put my magnet down, and that looks good still. Okay, so I like that spot. I'm going to grab some ink here. It's a girl, it's just a really pretty pink color. And I can kind of show you guys too. So here, I just did a really light and on purpose kind of missed a couple spots. So let's see. So that looks good, but see how it's a little bit faded here, and even could be just darker all in general. So I'm just gonna keep inking. So you just press your ink pad down on your stamp like this. Just want to make sure you can see it. There we go. So you just press it down, and with the Misti, this is the best part. Look at that. It's in the same exact spot that it was. I have this really fabulous tool. I can't remember exactly where I got it, but I'll make sure to link something similar where you can just rub it down on here, and it just helps with the transfer of the ink. So that's looking good. I might just do one more. I think I need a little bit more ink. I use this this pink quite a bit lately because I really like it. But just gonna ink it on here. And I wanted to show you guys. Looks really pretty. I like that. So this fabulous stamp set comes with another fabulous word that you can use to go right in the center of it. So I thought this was the perfect stamp set to show you, just to use, because this can be used, the cursive, like right in the middle here. So that way, you know, this is definitely something you want aligned. You can use the grids here to make sure it's straight. All right. So it looks good. I like that. And I'm just gonna use some of my archival ink actually. So I have my archival black, which I just like for a really thin dainty. So I'm just pressing that down for dainty stamps. I like the archival ink. It looks really pretty. So see how all the ink is on there? You can kind of tell, but of course if you need to redo it, you just move it over like that. And then press down. Look at that. That looks cool, huh? So that's really the basic, the bottom line of how to use your Misti. I wanted to show you a couple other things too though. That's really cute, so I'll probably finish that later. The next thing I want to show you is how to use this stamping foam. So I'm just going to take this off my backing here, and I'm going to place it on my Misti, and I can see here on my grid lines, you can see how it's straight. So I got it straight on there. That looks good like that. And then I'm going to, like I said earlier, take out my paper and my foam because I don't need it, because this is so thick that it's going to be able to press the image on itself. And then my magnet. Here's my magnet. So just making sure my magnet is on there, but not anywhere near where the stamp would be. So here's this. That looks really cool. Looks like it fits it perfectly. So I'm just going to, again, use my ink pad and ink my stamp. And then what's fun about the background ones is you could, you know, I could use like a different ink color. I've used this stamp before with an embossing pen, which was a lot of fun. And then you can see some of the pieces were gold, which was very cool. All right. So this is for background stamps again. So since it's so thick, you don't need that foam piece that it comes with or the grid. So let's see it here. Let's see how that turned out. Ooh, it looks pretty. So it'd be a really pretty background for a card or even for scrapbooking. I'm gonna mix in another color here just because I can. And with the Misti, what's great about this, you can do layers of different colors. Catherine Pooler inks can blend when you kind of mix them together, especially if you're using them as watercolors. So you can get your own color by doing it this way, and with the Misti, it'll stamp perfectly each time. I think that was the really big takeaway for me as a card maker. I just wanted to show this tool because personally I use it all the time. And it's really hard to go back when you have a stamping tool like this and you're using it for card making. And then your words and everything are so precise, you know, it makes it a lot easier to create and to create things that really you love and that look good. So it looks pretty cool. I like that. It looks nice. So there's my background stamp, and that worked perfectly with this, just the platform here with nothing underneath, and it comes off really easily. So that's really nice too. And then the other thing I want to show you is the sticky mats. So I think the sticky mats are great in general for a couple of things. I just want to show you. You can grab these at CatherinePooler.com also. So when you get these, you get 3 different grid sizes. So there's one in centimeters, and then there's one in 1/4 inch grid, and then 1/8 of an inch. And these are not sticky yet because I have the protective film on here. So all you have to do is just peel, so funny sound, peel that off. And then I'm just gonna put this right down. I might remove this just because it's a different grid. I'm gonna leave it just like that. That looks good. So I am gonna put my magnet down just so that it stays. And the first thing I wanted to show you is one thing that I've had trouble with lately is using coordinating stamps and dies. So I found that I like to die cut out my pieces first and then stamp the image. So using these sticky grids are great for this because not only can you line it up perfectly, you can get your stamp on there and it creates the perfect image, and it's not going to tear the paper or anything either. They're sticky enough for, you know, for it to stay, the paper to stay on while you're stamping, but they're not so sticky that it's going to ruin your paper once you take it off. So here I've already die cut out the super pretty butterfly. So that's set. And I like to just put my paper down, put my butterfly on it, and there we go. And see how, like, that just stayed perfectly in place. As long as you have it lined up in the corner, you know, just make sure it's lined up in the corner, and you're totally fine. So I have this pretty blue color. Let's put this right on my die. Looks pretty. That's so nice. And then I'll just show you how easy it is to remove. So you literally just peel it right off like that. No big deal. And there's your die with your stamped image. So I'll show you that again. I really like this tool for this because I've just had trouble more recently with die cutting and stamping, and I just find it easier to do the die cutting first, actually, which I didn't always do. I always stamped it and then I would tape it down to my die cutting machine, but sometimes, you know, the metal moves in the machine or whatever. It doesn't always work perfectly. So I found with this way, a little bit simpler to cut it out first and just line it up on here perfectly. And I might try this one in a bright color. Let's try Samba. Samba's a nice red. So you can see me just putting it right here on the stamping platform. Ink as much as you'd like, and remember you can always re-ink when you're done. Gosh, that red is so pretty. All right, yeah, this one looks better. I think some of my inks need re-inking, so don't you know, judge the stamping on that. Okay, so it curled a little, but you can always just bend it back. There you go, no ripping. Look how pretty. I even probably could have done it even more perfectly on there, but I feel like that's a pretty good stamp and coordinate die. So I like that. The other thing I want to show you with the sticky mat is how to use it for stenciling. So here I just have my card base, and I'm just going to put it down on my sticky mat grid here. And I didn't cut it perfectly or anything, I just am cutting it for an example. But you don't really need it on this whole platform, but you can keep it there for sure. I have these really pretty layered stencils that are Floral Roses by Lisa Horton. And so there's 2 stencils here. So I find it great to use with stenciling. So I'm just going to do like this and then stick the stencil down. How perfect is that? I'm going to grab my pink, I'm going to grab my Samba, and I'm going to just blend these colors onto my stencil. Alright, so look at how pretty those colors are, but we'll just watch as we peel this stencil off. Look at how good that looks. How pretty is that? So I'm just going to finish this off with my second stencil here. And again, you don't really need make sure, if you've never used layered stencils, you just want to make sure you have the right image, and you know that when everything is covered on the first layer. So that looks good. Don't really need the whole platform here, but it just works so well to keep it all together. And so now I'm going to grab some greens here for my leaves, my pretty leaves here, and I'm just going to stencil those on as well. So notice how my stencil isn't moving at all, you know, and that's the hardest part with stenciling, I think, is that you don't want any ink or anything to get underneath those layers. You don't want it to shift at all, because especially when using layered stencils, you don't want it to move, obviously, and then ruin your whole image. So I feel like these sticky mats are just perfect for this. And so let's take this off and see the results. Oh, how beautiful with those Catherine Pooler colors. And so let's just take this off here. And again, it's just an easy, it peels off. Quite simple. It's not going to ruin your paper. It gets a little bent, I would say, but that's why I would use, like, I just used a cover for my card, so I'm going to glue this on so that way it won't curl, and I'll use some cherry tape for that. And I did get a little bit of ink on here, and the sticky mats are great, and in order to take care of them, you can just wash them with some Dawn soap to help preserve the life of the stickiness, because eventually you do have to replace them. But again, this is everything that you could get at catherinepooler.com. And then here are pretty results. The background stamp, the fabulous, and you can see how crystal clear that word is, because we do have the Misti, and we're able to stamp more than once if we need to in the exact same spot. And then also this beautiful stenciling that we did with the sticky mats. It does it just looks so beautiful. It does curl the paper a little bit, but it does not damage your paper. So I would recommend doing a card base and then making sure you glue it onto your card base first. So, or do the card cover, and then you can just glue this down. How pretty are those? So that is a rundown of the Misti, and it's just, in my opinion, the best stamping platform. I use it all the time, especially for card making, but it's great also, like you see with the sticky mats, for stenciling and die cutting, of course, with those stamps, and it really just helps to give you that precision that you're looking for. So if this is something that you're interested in purchasing, or if you want any more information, please let me know. I'll have a whole write-up in my blog about it, and all the benefits and just all the good things about it that I love. Again, you can buy another magnet paper, the foam pad, and the Misti at catherinepooler.com. So I'll put links to all that there. And it really is one of my favorite crafting tools. I wasn't, you know, paid by anybody to make this video. I just wanted to make it because I truly love this stamping platform. It's the one I use, the one I bought for myself. Again, I think it does go this way because you can see the numbers better. So a little quirky. I was doing it the other way, but it's just the way I'm used to it. I think because, I don't know, I'm right-handed or something. I guess that doesn't make sense also because this is my left hand. But anyway, now I'm just rambling. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you're looking for a stamping platform to make your stamping more precise and clear, I would highly recommend this one. Grab those sticky mats. They're great for stenciling if that's something you're into. And I hope you learned a lot and enjoy. Feel free to ask me any questions at all in my comments on YouTube or on my blog post. Thanks for watching, guys.